because I was, yeah, put that in the chat. I'll send you another one. I'll send it again.
All right. All right, family, we are up. We are live. I'm having, oh, that's wrinkled. I'm having some technical difficulties. Give me a second to make some adjustments real quick, and we will be ready. All right. Let me see. What am I doing here? All right, somebody want to get in? Clifford Bowie. There we go. I found out what was wrong. We cool. We up. We live. All right, family. We want to welcome you to today's Per Ankh. Thank you for joining us. I'm gonna turn the mic over to Elder Alona.
Ooh, okay. Hotep, good morning. I'm Jumbo. Elder Tony, can you do our drum call, please? Elder Tony? You can do the drum call from the black line. Is he still on the black line? Let's see.
He can't get on?
I don't know. Elder Tony, are you? I think he's trying to do it. Elder Tony, can we hear? We can't hear you.
He hasn't requested to join yet.
Can you request to join, Elder Tony? Okay. Elder Darrow, can you do us a drum call so we can connect up Elder Tony? You have to unmute yourself.
Ashe.
Ashe, thank you very much. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. We're now officially open. Elder Phyllis, do you want to read the statement or do we read that later at the end? You have to unmute yourself. Elder Phyllis, unmute yourself.
She may have fallen off.
She's still there. I see her.
Cool.
She's still there. She just needs to unmute herself. Unmute yourself. We can't hear you. Okay. We'll read the statement later. We'll get to Elder Phyllis and help her unmute herself. Brother Hatim, can you play Lift Every Voice? I can see he's not on mute. Brother Hatim, Nation Builder Hatim.
It's playing right now. Hold on.
Oh, okay, good. Thank
Y'all
you.
won't be able to hear it.
That's okay. Just tell us when to come back in.
Ooh.
No one can hear us, right?
Yeah, they can hear us. Hold on.
Oh.
All right, it's over. We're back up.
Okay. Thank you for Lift Every Voice. Elder Darrell, would you come to the mic and do our pledge, the UNIA pledge? Elder Darrell, you're on mute.
Okay. Here's to this flag of mine, the red, black, and green. Hopes in its future bright, Africa has seen. Here's to the red of it. Great nations shall know of it in time to come. Red blood shall flow of it. Historians shall write of it. Great flag of mine. Here's to the black of it. 400 millions back of it, whose destiny depends on it. The red, black, and green of it. Old flag of mine. Here's to the green of it. Young men and women shall dream of it. Face shots and shells for it. Maidens shall sing of it, waving so high. Here's to the whole of it. Colors brought and pole of it. Pleased is my soul with it, regardless of what is told of it. Thanks to God and Garvey for giving it. Ashe.
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 Ashe. We'll go right into our libations, Brother Hatim. Not elder, although I make that mistake quite often. You're almost an elder, nation builder Hatim. We do our libations.
All right. Let's get it. All right, family, we're going to do it toast style. Y'all know how we get down here, Gye-Nyame Journey. Let me go and switch the screen so that I'm putting it on the news screen so y'all can join me. Oh, better yet, let's do the receipt screen.
Permission to speak real quickly, please.
Go ahead.
Baba Tony has technical difficulties.
All right, if somebody could be specific with me about the technical difficulties, I might be able to help him.
Elder Phyllis says also she's on, but she can't get any sound. Elder Phyllis, can you hear me?
And
All right.
Chandra was having the same issue.
With the sound, huh? Let me see. Lord have mercy. Settings.
They need to unmute.
Right, they're on mute. Elder Phyllis is not on mute right now.
Elder Phyllis, can you hear us? Let me see. Let me text her.
Check 1, check 2. Hers should be coming through. I'm gonna double check the settings real quick. Well, that's only for mine, but everybody should be. Tiandra, her mic is muted, but let's go and do this libations real quick. All right, family, you know we do the toast. So we're going to lift up our glasses. I got my glass, got my water. I ain't going to play the song for y'all this morning, but y'all know how we do it. We got to salute these ancestors. Actually, I ain't need to do the water. I could have did that ambrosia. But anyway, so we're going to lift up our glass first to the Creator, by whatever name you choose to call the Creator. We call on that great force, that great power to enter the room, even though we already know it's there, to enter our hearts, even though we know it's already there. We lift up our glass and we salute and we say, Ashe.
Ashe.
From there, family, we move on. Of course, y'all know to my favorite part. And what I'm going to do is to ask the family to chime in and let us know if you have any ancestors that are on your heart or mind this morning that you would like to share. I'll start off. I'm going to call Miles Brown, Miss Ann, Robert Tex, Sandra Davis, Herman Brown Sr., Rosalie Tilly, Georgia William Walter, Christopher Fanny Gaston, Aunt Lena, Uncle Chris, Aunt Fiend, Cleveland and Geneva Brown, Margaret Ellis, and Cecil Ellis. Is there any other ancestors that people want to call on? Please do.
Tawana Lee McQuaida, Clarence Felton Winbush, and Loretta Louise Thomas, Virginia Louise Knighton, Sydney Clarence Winbush. That's my mom, my dad, my 2 sisters, and a brother. Ashe.
Ashe.
Ashe. Alan and Winnie Frederick. Uncles Joe, John Wesley, and Thomas Alonzo and Pleasant. aunts Maddie Ada Texasana Pearlie, and my grandmother Mary Eliza Frederick, my grandpa Davis, and those are the great uh, aunts and uncles and grandparents, and of course my great grandmother.
Ashe. Any others?
Sure.
Nate Green, Lily Bell Green, Anna Pierce, Donald Carter, Ashe.
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 Any others? Elder Tony, do you? No others?
We have people falling off.
I see.
But in any event, let me offer this as a hetep di nasu. This is the offering given by the maintainer of Ma'at. It's a hetep di nasu in Amun Re Pata Shu Tefnu Geb Nu Esir Set Heru Set Nevet Het Ampu Jehuti Maati Sashet Ma'at Dihi Peret Keru Te Henquet Kam and Manet Rim Apet Shesu Minket Ket Nebet Neferet Wabet En Anket Necheru En Kain Emiu Aku. And I will add Apple, Adam Green, Miss Beverly Hall, Mr. Junior Jackson, Miss Marie, Mr. Wesley, and I would say Ma'akaru.
Ashe. We want to lift up all of the ancestors that we have mentioned and those that might have been mentioned, but we on mute. We want to make sure that we lift them up in our hearts and our minds, and we say Ashe. From there, we move on. From our ancestors, we move into this present moment. We want to lift up this present moment. Right now, we are on Imani. Hopefully, some of y'all been around long enough to know what we're talking about. We are on Imani, and family, I ask that each of us find an example of Imani and share it. Share it with family members. We salute this day, and also on this day, for those that don't speak the language, Imani is faith. Then we also have harmony. We have trust in the M7 that we teach the young people, and we have gender, which is the Hermetic law. The West African names for this day are Kwesi and Akosua. So we want to lift those up. And one last thing before I move on, I'm trying to do a proverb a day for the family. So we are on 1.3 from the African Openness to the Tree of Life, a proverb that people can walk away with. The human being freedom is in the inner head, say the knowledge holders. All right, so we lift up our glass for this present moment and we say, Ashe.
Ashe.
From the present moment, we lift up our glass. We salute our children's children on to infinity. We raise our glasses high because I can't wait to see what achievements they move into and do. We lift up and we say Ashe.
Ashe.
From there, we move to all of our relations. We want to salute our relationship to everything in this universe because we all come from the same being, regardless of what we call them. So we lift up our glass and we say Ashe.
Ashe.
Last but not, my fault. We're going to lift up, and we're going to do that selfish toast. This is for those of us that's out here working. We want to make sure that our cup is full, so we want to take some time for us. You know what I'm saying? And we want to ask the Creator and ancestors and all this energy that we got gathered up in here to flow through us and with us. We lift up our glass, and the one question I ask is, what is the one thing you need in this moment to move you one step closer to your greatness? And with that, we say Ashe.
Ashe.
Last but not least, I want to salute all of the most, I want to salute the most magnificent, the most beautiful, the wisest, and the greatest individuals right now in the room. I want to lift up the glass to each of you that's joining us right now. We lift up the glass and we say, Ashe,
Ashe,
Ashe.
Ashe,
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 Ashe.
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 on with the show.
Permission to
Yes.
speak.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Brother Hatem just, talked about Imani. And I personally want to congratulate our brother because he is coming to the completion of a 21-day fast. So my hat's off to you, brother. And of course, so my brother wouldn't feel alone, I joined him in. I completed my 21-day challenge with walking a mile a day.
Oh.
And that's a lot better than I was doing. And so, this is an example of Imani and how that gets put into action.
Ashe.
And it also accompanies that proverb he just gave us. I yield.
Congratulations to both you brothers.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Did Elder Tony come on, Brother Nation Builder?
Not that I know of yet. I don't see him.
Okay.
Let me check my text message. Let's move. What's next? That'll give me a couple of
What's
seconds.
next is really okay. What next is lighting the candles and the
Oh
evil.
my God! Hold on. All right.
Some people are having.
Your mic just got muted. Your mic just got muted.
Some folks are having challenges getting on Gye-Nyame Media. Do you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Are we on FB? I was doing okay with Twitch there for a minute, but I turned it off in order to pay attention.
I think he's checking on Elder Tony.
I'm back. Go ahead. What's up?
Okay, so Elder Tony wasn't able to get on?
I don't. All they gotta do is click the link or get called. Did he get the text?
Yes, he did. But do we have very many people on GMJ Media? I'm getting texts that say people are having some issues.
All right.
Check that.
Tell them to go to the Facebook page until I get it fixed. I don't know what's going on.
Okay,
Facebook
I'll
is
say
acting the goddamn. Excuse me. Facebook is not acting properly.
Okay. I'll be okay. Okay, give me a sec. Oh.
Ashe.
Tiandra, can you unmute?
Yes, sir.
Cool. All right, cool. All right, family, thank you for bearing with us. We are being attacked.
By the alphabet people.
Yeah, it's cool. I'm
okay. So if Elder Tony's not there, I'll do what we usually do, say for lighting the candles. Okay. What we usually do is we say, Sasa Nina Washa Mshuma Hu Umoja, no, who, why Umoja? That I light this candle in the name of Umoja. Nina Washa Imchuma, who, why Umoja? And for now, we're lighting the unity candle only. We will light the other candles during the first part of the new year, when we celebrate the new year, and then the other candles at Kwanzaa. So we've lit the unity, the black candle in the name of Umoja. Asante Sana. Elder Phyllis. Okay, let me. Elder Phyllis. I see she's unmuted. I see her.
Yeah, she unmuted, but it's not. She not. I don't know what's going on with her mic because she unmuted, but I don't. No sound is coming through.
Right. She can't hear.
G&J Media is up live now. I had to switch it to YouTube. I don't know what was going on with Facebook.
Okay. Okay.
Elder Phyllis may still be on the black line. That was my problem. The phone can't handle both, so that may be.
Right.
I told people to hang up. You gotta hang up.
You did.
Hang up the black line. Let me see. I'm gonna go in and cut off the black line. Let me get over here on this.
Oh, so you're automatically hanging up.
Oh yeah, I'm manually hang it up. Well, ain't nobody on. Oh yeah, it is.
Is Phyllis on the black line?
I ain't gonna say her number. There's a couple of numbers on here, and that might be the reason. Let me go on in.
Our number starts with a 406.
Yeah, she's still on there. Y'all don't listen. Y'all don't listen. Tell her she gonna have to go out and try to come back in. That's for everybody. That might be the problem. That might be what's up with Elder Tony as well. So if anybody out there that's listening that's close to Elder Tony, everybody may need to go out and get back in. I'm gonna call Elder Tony and take care of that now. Elder Phyllis, hang up your phone, hang it up, and come back in.
Look like that's what she did. She left.
See, I was on the black line, and then no, I was on the Google meeting, and then I went to the black line to call in for the meeting. It hung.
Okay.
It turned off the Google Meet, but as soon as I
hung up the black line.
Yeah, the Google Meet came back up.
Okay.
I mean, but that's on my laptop.
I see Phyllis. Can she hear?
Elder Phyllis, her mic is working. Elder Phyllis, go ahead.
Well, I just got on here. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I told y'all to hang up.
Barely hear.
Y'all don't
You have
listen.
to hang up the black line.
How do I make it louder?
You don't need to be louder. We hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, but I can barely hear you.
Oh.
If you have earphones, use those. Use earphones.
Jesus.
Plug them into the computer.
No, Elder Phyllis, there's an icon on the top of your screen
Elder
that
Tony,
looks like a
why you can't get on?
microphone, and you have the option of being on your speaker on your phone. It's to the left of closed caption on my phone. Do you see that?
Okay, which one? The phone?
There's like the volume icon. And you'll want to select speaker.
Okay, I did. I got speaker. I can hear.
Awesome.
Yeah. Is Elder Tony on?
Hatem is working with him now.
Okay. I had to just hang up and come back in.
Okay. I'm telling Cassandra's having the same issue. I'm telling her try going out and coming back on.
Yeah,
So,
that helped.
Cassandra. And let me see. I'm getting texts from Eunice.
Yeah, she was on the line, and she.
Eunice says she is now on Facebook and she can see and hear well.
Okay.
Very good. You know who I haven't, since we're checking in, I haven't heard from Elder Margarita. I don't know where she is this morning. Usually it's our meter.
And Navita.
In heaven, yeah. I need to text them. I'll text them both. Okay. Elder Phyllis, we were at the point of you doing the evocation.
Okay. I am ready. The voice calls forth the Great Spirit, the creative power of the universe that gives and sustains all existence forever. Let us adore Amun, who, though hidden, is the source of all life, all power, and all health. Let us hail Re, the sun, the highest visible or sensible manifestation of spirit that rises on the eastern horizon as Kepra, the self-creating one, who shines down at midday as Re, the eternally creating one, and who goes down on the western horizon as Atun, the complete one. Let us revere Ptah, the nature and form creating one. Let us call Wasir, to whom we give our dead for everlasting life. Let Yehuti, nature of good speech, intelligence, and writing, teach or inform us. Let us worship Nut, the sky, the divine mother, who stretches forth from horizon to horizon, giving birth to all that comes into existence. Let us obey Ma'at, divine sister, who imbues the universe with order, harmony, balance, truth, justice, righteousness, reciprocity, and love. The voice calls forth the ancestors, who abide the spirit and the spirits of our yet unborn children, who will carry forth our seed for eternity. Now let this community unite in the celebration of the African spirit and the rededication of another cycle of Ma'at, right speaking and right doing. Ashe.
Ashe. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Ashe.
Yes. Elder Clifford, with our announcements, would you unmute yourself and come on with announcements? Elder Clifford. Unmute yourself. Okay.
Unfortunately, Alona, I do not have a current program available, so I can only give us our basic announcements.
Why don't you give us our basic ones and the birthdays?
I don't have that available.
Okay.
I
Okay,
only
so
have. Go ahead.
I'll read the announcements and then you come back in when we get ready for Praise the Moon.
All right.
Is that okay?
That's
Okay.
fine.
Parak is usually Parak is generally the second Sunday at 11:30. However, August, we will be meeting on August the 2nd. We'll be meeting August the 2nd for Parak. Divine Conversation this month will be July the 26th. We're celebrating Queen Mother Moore, Queen Mother Moore's celebration of African women on July the 7th, 6 p.m. You'll be getting more information on that. It will be live as well as, it will be virtual as well as live at Mamie Moore Park. And after that, we roll right into the Kemetic New Year. and Tawi's New Year. The prelude to the Kemetic New Year will be August 1st and 2nd. And we're pleased to say that medical doctor Reba Kelly Harris will be presenting. During that time, we will have Parank. We will also have history and call drum talking. So you'll get more information, but please set your calendars for the prelude. That's August 1st and 2nd. Then the 5 days before the actual New Day, which is 3rd through the 8th, we will be having various activities, more to come. The activities will be both virtual as well as live. And the actual New Year celebration is the first day of our new year is August the 8th. That day we will be celebrating with the Imani dancers and drummers as they call out the names. We meet every Fridays virtual for the Ask Cat study group and history class. That's at 6 o'clock. We've been meeting via the Black Line. Ongoing Madu Nature classes and study groups. You can contact either myself or Nation Builder Kwame for more information on that. You can get your books from Zawadi Books, Elder Mariba's book, as well as GMJ Journey. You can also get Elder Mariba's book. We need help, ongoing assistance and help with Parak and Divine Conversation. You can contact me on that. We have happy birthdays and happy anniversaries. The happy birthdays are, we had one that just passed last week with Sister Charlotte Keechler. We have Nation Builder Rochelle's birthday on July the 20th. Warrior Ransom's birthday on July the 29th. And Elder Eunice Hall, who's on our call, on July the 31st.
What is all that?
Maybe that was her saying happy birthday. Thank you, thank you. Anniversaries, one that passed, that's Elder Phyllis and Bob Ransom, was July the 3rd. And a happy anniversary to Nation Builders Rochelle and Talib, whose anniversary is coming up on July the 19th. That's our announcements. We always are supporting our Black businesses. You can always contact us for more information like Dudley Products, Zawadi Books, Cebu Enterprises, Elder Dale Green with officiating African-centered holidays and weddings. We have Tai Chi going on. We have massage and hair stuff going on. You can do taxes, do insurance, body products, a whole bunch of stuff you can contact us about. So that's our announcements. Thank you very much. Have anything that I missed? Elder Darrell, would you do the intro to Praise the Moon, and then Elder Clifford, would you fit with Praise the Moon, please?
Sure. The document that we call Praise to Our Moon is part of a larger document. And in that document, we find the earliest teachings of creation in the world. And there are three main recurring themes that we find in this document. One is that everything that exists is connected. Two, we understand that the nature of the life force is inside of us. And three, there's no real death. Everything is destined for the cyclical process of transformation. Ashe.
Ashe. Thank you, Elder Darrell. Elder Clifford.
Ashe.
Elder Clifford, you unmute yourself.
I got the praise.
Just a moment.
I can do.
Just a moment.
I got the praise to
Okay.
a moon.
Okay.
Let me do it. I'm gonna do the praise to a moon. Y'all hold on for a second. Mute your mic.
All natures are three. It has ray as a face. Its body is the top. The cities of earth are established in perpetuity. Waset, Unu, and the city of the white wall for eternity. A message descended from the sky and heard in Unu, and repeated in the city of the white wall.
I'm assuming he's doing a pre-recorded version of it.
An official documentation.
Yes. That's what I think.
Oh, you think this was going on?
Yeah, that's what's going on, and everybody hear us.
I didn't hear it, but I hear you.
It shall belong to the Nile. All that came forth from its mouth, and the measures were established because of it, according to what was decreed. A message was sent. It shall slay and give life, and life and death come from it for everyone, except the next. Plus Ray, plus Patah, total 3.
We are back up in 3, 2, 1. Oops. We're back up.
Oops. Okay. Elder Darrell, that you have given us an introduction to the statement of African spirituality.
Okay. We're talking about principle number 12?
Yes, number 12.
Okay. In terms of the Tawi family village, there is no discrimination of religious beliefs. As long as there is an adherence to the principles of Ma'at, the Nguzo Saba, and the protocol of the Tawi family village, all are welcome. The Tawi temple, or what we call Paran, was established to provide a place for those who wanted to honor the nature, the ancestors, and study the ancient texts of our committed brothers and sisters, or as our committed brothers and sisters once did, with full knowledge that these teachings were not just to be espoused, but to live by. That being said, the Tawi Temple will not absorb, incorporate, or add any rituals, ceremonies, celebrations, or doctrine from other belief systems. Out of respect alone, we would never go to another group or institution to ask or expect them to change their rituals, liturgies, or teachings for us. And we have the right, authority, and sovereignty to demand the same respect. There is nothing wrong with acknowledging or quoting other wisdom teachings, but there should never be a problem in our returning to our committed source for the final validation: life, power, and health.
Ashe, thank you.
Sure.
And the principle for this reminding is the Tawi Per Columbus community is committed to promoting the development of healthy African personality through Kemetic spirituality, ethics, and morals. Again, promoting the development of healthy African personality through Kemetic spirituality, ethics, and morals. Ashe. Ashe. Now, for our feature speaker with our Sabayet,
Elder Tony,
it
I
is.
seen hello, Elder Tony. Because you're on YouTube. You're not on the link that she sent through. Oh, my fault.
Thank you as our elder and nation builder communicate with each other. We are going to bring up Warrior Tiana Finch that is giving us our message for today. I'll let Warrior Tiandra is up. You're on the phone. You are in the house. We're looking forward to hearing from you. And I know you had also talked about bringing on Elders Tony, Nation Builder Hatem, and Sister Layla Harris. I'll let you work through that. So I turn it over to you, Warrior Tiandra.
All right. Greetings, family. Everyone can hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Sounds good.
Fine.
Not going to take long. Just going to introduce this topic and maybe give a few examples and then bring on Elder Tony and Nation Builder Hatem to do the same. Sister Layla is here in spirit, but we were having some technical difficulties. So today the conversation is shaped around culturally appropriate narrative mapping. And basically what that's saying is how important narrative is to our existence, especially as Afrocentric people in Western society even. And making sure that we take our own agency in naming ourselves for ourselves and naming our stories the same. And so the first illustration that I wanted to start with is the whole idea of code switching. Many of us, I believe on the line, has heard of code switching and how it's a concept that says that when we go into the workplace, we may present ourselves one way, then when we go home, we present ourselves differently. What I would like to do is to push back on that narrative and to rename it for ourselves, by ourselves, saying that we don't necessarily code switch based on the environment that we go in, that instead we're very strategic and articulate communicators who are multilingual and multifaceted based on the environment that we're in and our goal. And so that is one example of narrative shaping as it's culturally appropriate. If we simply call it code switching and assume that definition as though we're giving up part of ourselves to fit into a world that wasn't created with us, then we're also giving away our power and not realizing the strength in being able to strategically articulate our goal and our message based on our environment and the audience at hand. And that's something as an Afrocentric people that were that came to the Western society through transatlantic slave trade. We did not adapt to their land per se. We rather adapted our skills and abilities to make sure that we could still survive, and not only survive but continually thrive. And so that's the notion of the concept. I personally am, I guess, a healer and an educator are the two gifts that I feel that the Most High has given me. I deem myself a strategic free spirit, a recovering straight A student, and a very proud medical school dropout. And so I am an allied health professional, and I did very proudly dropped out of Western medicine education system because a lot of what they were teaching did not coincide with my spiritual awareness as a woman of African descent. And so I bring that to say that narrative and science complement one another, and one can't really be seen without seeing the other equally. And so a lot of times in Western medicine, we're told a lot of statistics, but statistics sans narrative doesn't tell the full story. And so when you go into a physician or a doctor to the healthcare system, a saying that they're taught is that history is necessary, as you cannot order a diagnostic test without having a reason or something to rule out. And so why is that important? A lot of times in our history, we've gone to Western society medicine and let them diagnose us or allowed them to silence us and tell our story. And that is only getting us so far. And so in sharing this message, empowering one another to articulate what's going on within and what we see going on with our loved ones, because that is more important than a diagnostic test or blood work. Your numbers and statistics and labs can say one thing, but if it's not complemented with a narrative or a story, you don't really know how you got there. And so another example, anemia. So a lot of Black women have been diagnosed with anemia particularly, but anemia has at least 3 different causes. But if we only treat it for the most common way and we don't see any benefit from being treated in that way, it goes to show that the narrative or the story for why your numbers are the way that they are is just as, if not more important than just what your numbers are. And I typically teach very interactive, so this is different, just being a talking head, knowing that there's people out there. But I hope that you're following me. There's multiple ways that you can become anemic. Main way is either loss of blood completely or loss of components of blood. And if we just allow numbers and statistics and labs to label us one way, then we will miss the most important part of the story or the narrative in healing. Another thing to consider is diagnoses. And so going into the medical system that we have, a lot of times in order to bill for services, they have to attach it to a diagnosis. And I just want to encourage our people who function very differently than Eurocentric people to not necessarily attach a diagnosis to identity or to narrative, to be very intentional about how we communicate that. So rather than saying, I am or I have a diagnosis, you can say, I've been diagnosed with or I'm healing from. We know that our words and our tongue are very powerful in our culture. And it's important to practice and know that throughout every facet of our life. And sometimes we feel as though there are areas where we're not as educated. And so we allow other people and how they interact and carry out their livelihood to be impressioned upon us. And therefore, we are dealt with some of the detrimental effects of that. And so again, pushing towards narrative and being in a place to define ourselves for ourselves. Whenever we've been diagnosed with something, we don't have that. The diagnosis is not our identity. It's simply something that we've been diagnosed with. And if we can take it a step further, we can say that we're healing from. One of the last examples that I'll give for today, for now, is that we're taught in medical school that Asian cultures do not provide prognosis or life expectancy to the ill. So if someone has been given so many years to live based on their prognosis, say they have cancer and it's a very aggressive cancer, so the doctors are only expecting them to live for 12 months to, I don't know, 12 to 18 months. That is not information that is shared with the individual that is healing from the illness, which is very different from our culture in Western society. And so because of that difference, the family knows it, but the person is not given that information. And statistically speaking, individuals in Asian culture who are not shared their life expectancy for their prognosis live about 3 to 5 times longer than individuals who are told what their life expectancy is. And so that's something to consider, because when we start to agree with a certain narrative or attach it as a part of our identity, it starts to become such that. And so when we start to believe that, oh, I'm only going to live 12 to 18 months longer, then our entire body, our being, our spirit, our mind, our emotion moves in that way. And so that's why it's very important, again, for us to take the place of defining ourselves for ourselves and being very strategic about and very intentional about what we say our narrative is. And so that's starting the conversation. There are a couple ways that Brother Hatim does this that I think is so divine. And there are things that Elder Tony wanted to share as well as it involves this conversation. So I want to invite them in at this time.
Well, we still trying to get Elder Tony up, so I'm going to have to dance a little bit till we get him up on here. So now, of course, I know when she said the narrative piece there, right? For me, the narrative is the most important thing. It's all about the stories that we tell ourselves. I don't know if anybody can remember, but back when Obama, one of the words that came in with Obama was the word transparency. And you kept hearing this story about government becoming transparent. But the important piece of that, hold on, good. Let me switch screens because, all right, let me go. Where is it at? But another word that came in with him, was narrative. You kept hearing the term narrative. And whether we're talking about medical practice or whether we're talking about education or whether we're talking about mathematics, the stories that we allow to come out of our mouth, the narratives that we tell ourselves, the narratives that we allow to be passed from generation to generation, the narratives that we tell about our families and the narratives that we tell about our struggles affect us. And they are very powerful in how the human mind, how the human body interacts with these stories. It can heal you or it can destroy you. And we have narratives that's flowing in our community about us that are very dangerous at this point in time. And there's some that are very beautiful. Now, if anybody has any question about the power of a narrative, I'll just say Jesus Christ. Right? Because a lot of people are like, Brother Hatim, that's not a story. What is it? That is a story. What did our ancestors master? They mastered putting together metaphors or myths or to explain the world to our people. And what we have to start grasping is ways and tools and ways of being able to craft these stories. One of the first things I did when I formed Gye-Nyame was develop or allow flow through me a myth. Gye-Nyame is based around a myth. It's based around a story. And everybody is trying to be part of that story. And everybody that's in Gye-Nyame has some type of interaction with that story. And from that story, the reality that we're trying to shape starts to flow. But what we did with Gye-Nyame is we left the narrative open-ended, because when people come up to Brother Hatim and ask, well, what's next for G? Because that's our mythic hero. I asked them, you tell me, what's next for G? We end up playing in a closed loop. We end up playing in old myths, and we act them out in our lives. And in some cases, if the myth is not healthy for it, if it does not fit our lifestyle, and this is where it was what really struck me when Sister Tiana just started talking about this, culturally appropriate. The narratives we tell, just like our holidays, just like the celebrations we have to be culturally appropriate. And the question that we got to ask ourselves as Tawi, the question we got to ask ourselves as a tribe of Tawi in Gye-Nyame and the other tribes that are in Tawi, the questions we got to ask ourselves are the narratives that we're telling each other about ourselves, about our community, about what we're doing, are they culturally appropriate? If they are, then we need to go and continue promoting. If not, then we got to do some real work to destroy them, root them out, and replace them with things that are going to be healthy for us. Because we're like that patient that Sister Tianja was talking about in a hospital. And we got doctors coming in and giving us the diagnosis. We need the other family members to hear the diagnosis so that we have a longer opportunity to live or possibly even survive, because I ain't got to deal with the narrative coming from an official figure. Are we telling narratives that assist us in our nation building in Tawi? Are we telling narratives that assist us with our warriorship in Tawi? Are we telling narratives that are assisting our children develop in Tawi? And is Elder Tony on yet? Okay, I'm gonna buck dance a couple more minutes. I'm just joking. But anyway, family, it's important though that we really start wrapping our minds around these narratives, because I want y'all to understand that the basic building blocks of all cultures are the stories that they tell. And when we start recognizing that and start recognizing the importance of the stories, we'll not only be able to look at what the story of Heru tell us in a different and a more empowering way, but we'll also be able to look at some of these other cultural stories and see how they can empower us or how they disempower us. So before we change our reality, we got to change our narrative. And that narrative have to be culturally appropriate, or it will end up destroying us. I'm Brother Hatim, and I approve this message.
Brother Hatim, thank you for that. And as we wait for, hopefully, Elder Tony to join us, because I know he has so much to share, I want to just go ahead and there were 2 points that you made that I think are so vital and imperative and so easy for us to grasp as a people. And the first point was that you made about Jesus Christ and the fact that that's a story. And it's a story about someone who, for some of us in our faith, we hold very high, me included. But what I think is so beautiful about being Afrocentric in nature, and especially about Tawi, if we hear how we introduced Per Ankh and how with Tawi Family Village, we don't close our doors or try to change anyone spiritually. It's very inclusive because we understand that spirituality is very personal and is very much a relationship than being, I guess, marginalized based on a religion and a box. And so that goes to show how strong our narrative is. When your narrative is strong and you know who you are, you're not afraid to listen to other people's stories and be welcoming to learn who other people are. And I think that that's the beautiful thing about our culture that through narrative, I hear at times is why we are where we are, because we don't feel the need to minimize others in order to celebrate ourselves. Oftentimes even recently, as Black Lives Matter continues to grow and having our identity and our Blackness grow and be celebrated is seen as a threat, as us coming against other cultures, as if the resources aren't abundant, and as if we can't fully be ourselves and make space, and not even have to make space, that there's room for us to be ourselves in our fullness, as there's room for others to be themselves if they didn't feel the need to minimize others. And that's the beautiful thing about where we come from. The other thing that came to mind was how beautiful celebrating Juneteenth just was, and how it took on an additional spirit, a spirit that really grew, a spirit that needed to take up its full space because of all the things that are going on currently. And then how that shift towards July 4th, which is always something that I noticed, where there is some condemnation of others and sometimes of selves for, well, I have the day off, but should I celebrate it? And should I purchase the hot dogs that are on sale, or this or that? Should I go to the fireworks? And to me, that points straight to narrative. What are you celebrating on that day? What are you choosing to celebrate? For me, I'm not choosing the independence of this nation that needed to build itself off of my ancestors' backs. What I choose to celebrate is the continuation of Juneteenth and our continual freedom, as well as the fact that Assata Shakur penned a beautiful letter calling out her brothers and sisters, right, on July 4th in 1973. I'm choosing to celebrate that. I'm choosing to celebrate who I am as a person, who my family is, who our culture is. And that goes to show, again, narrative and the power that we have. And going back to the fact that we're so open here in Tawi spiritually, and can celebrate one another and be open to that. With Christianity and with other faiths, you know, we oftentimes hear something like, it's the white man's religion, or things that are purely narrative and how we shape them. And I challenge and I push back just to say, how can we shape them to where we're centered in the story as it affects us, as opposed to adopting a story that someone else is trying to give us? Because enslavement and that mindset didn't end clearly 400 years ago. They still try to use it and shape it to push their narrative in different ways. So, is Elder Tony here?
Nah, he's not here. But one of the things I wanted to also add is that we need to look at the story we tell ourselves about spirituality or religion. Now, one of the things that I discovered in a sweat lodge somewhere is that spirituality is about maintaining and monitoring relationships. And you can really tell how spiritual somebody is by not how long they sit in a meditation pose, or not how long they could hold a yoga pose, or not by what they eat, but by the relationships that they keep with people around them. Let me say that again. Spirituality is about relationships. And I want you to understand now, so if you look at the axiology of Black people, our axiology focuses on relationships. Now, but this culture tries to, how can I put, this culture's axiology is based on objects and possessions. So when we are dealing with each other, this, like I said, the importance of the narrative, when we are dealing with each other, we have to realize, am I putting the object to the forefront, or am I putting the relationship to the forefront? And going back to earlier this week, when we had a meeting with Dr. Kelsey, the Nation Builders had a meeting with Dr. Kelsey, one of the key points that he brought on, that he talked about, was relationship. So if we really want to talk about being spiritual, we really have to start really focusing on the relationships in our I don't even like calling it organizations. I say tribes, I say community, I say village, because those are terms that we can mold and we can shape. Organization, that falls into the European realm. It's about objects and possession objects. A community or a village is about relationships there, because you can't have one of those without the relationships. So when we talk about spirituality, we're talking about that story that we tell ourselves about our relationships. What's important? What do I relate to? I'm going to leave it alone. Elder Tony, it don't look like he's going to be getting on, so we might. Who next? You ain't all got to go at once. We must have put him to sleep, sister. Hold on.
Did.
We got Sister Navita in the house. Hold on. All right. All right. Elder Tony, how did Sister Navita beat you here?
Well, if he ain't on, he can't hear.
Well, I mean, he probably watching this on YouTube right now.
Okay. Oh, okay.
But mute your mic, woman.
Okay.
Hi, Sister Navita.
So what's next on the agenda?
Was there an elder that wanted to speak to that at all? Elder Alona, Elder Phyllis?
Somebody got to say something.
Elder
Well,
Darrell?
I thought your presentation was really good, and it reminded me of the Nguza Sabo principle, Kujichagulia, that we must define for ourselves one be. So I thought that was a good way of presenting that. It was also a good way of helping me to better understand the code switching, like the part where you talked about the Asian culture and how they don't tell their family how long they have to live. And we tend to want to know because we think it's important to know. And I guess you could choose who should know and who shouldn't know. I mean, there's some people that are worrywarts who are just worried themselves to death. There are other people who may take it with a grain of salt. But I thought the presentation was really good and probably something that we need to talk more about on a daily basis, or more, so that more people can understand it and relate to it. Because your topic initially threw me off. I was like, ooh, this sounds so heavy. And then when you spoke, it was very clear to me. So your presentation was excellent. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
In other words, the topic got the conversation.
Yes.
Yes. I'm back. I'm sorry. It went weird on me. So I went off and came back on. Next, we have Elder Phyllis talking about offering, and perhaps Brother Hatim is streaming it across the stream.
Yes. So
Is that
Brother
the bottom
Hatim,
Is at the bottom of the screen right now.
okay.
Okay.
You want me to read the stuff out for you, Elder Phyllis, or you know it?
No, you can read it off because I don't know it.
All right, family, we need to make sure that we keep this going and to continue building the community. We need you to help by donating. The Tawi is a nonprofit organization, so you could go on and donate at paypal.me/Tawi Family Village. Is at the bottom of the screen, or because we moving up into the 21st century, we got Cash App. It's cash symbol Tawi Family Village. So no excuses allowed. You don't send that money. Thank you very much. Just joking.
No
family,
caps.
no, yeah, well, no. In Tawi Family Village for the Cash App, I think the T is cap. The F is. Hold on, it's coming back up. It's moving slow. So once again, paypal.me/Tawi Family Village, or our Cash App is cash symbol, capital T AWI, capital FAMILY, capital VILLAGE. Make sure that you join the Tawi Family Village if you are interested. We have a Facebook page as well as I think we have a site at tawifamilyvillage.org. Is that it?
Yeah, just
That's
let me
it.
add to that as you said, Tawi is a nonprofit organization, so your contributions are tax deductible, as well as they need you to know we have no paid staff. Nobody gets paid, so the funds that we collect allow us to continue to do our programming to the community at no cost to them.
Speaking of
I
which,
say.
I'll need to know that my Cash App got to Tawi Family Village.
Uh-oh.
Okay, I will send you a reply. But it did get here. I did see it. Thank you very much. But I will do a better job at replying. Okay. Elder Clifford, are you on? Let me see. Is he on? Is he on? If not, we're at the point of doing the pledge to Ma'at. I don't see him, so maybe he went away. Brother Clifford, Elder Clifford, can you read the pledge to Ma'at?
Just a moment.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
Okay, here we go. Ma'at is great. Its value is lasting. It has remained unchanged and unequal since the time of its creator. It is a playing path even for the ignorant. Those who violate its laws are punished. Ma'at urges moral excellence in all one does, so no fault can be found in your character. Ma'at is truth. Ma'at is justice. Ma'at is righteousness. Ma'at is balance. Ma'at is order. Ma'at is harmony. Ma'at is reciprocity. Do that which is right, that you may live long on earth. Think Ma'at. Speak Ma'at. Do Ma'at. In secular and sacred situations. Ma'at will ensure a mutually beneficial community and everlasting light. Shimhotep.
Shimotep, thank you. Brother Hatim.
Yes, ma'am.
Do music and pictures.
Yep.
Are we gonna do that? But you want us to do our closing Madum Nefer now, correct? Before the music and
Yeah,
pictures?
because it's a long song.
Okay, so Elder Darrell, if you would do the Madum Nefer, and then Nation Builder Hatim can come in. Elder Darrell, you went on mute.
Can someone type up on the chat part the Cash App information?
Okay. Hold on.
Elder Darrell, would you go ahead with the Banu Nefer?
The end is as it was in the beginning. And we say, Ashe.
Ashe, thank you.
Okay.
So Nation Builder Hatim, you can do the music and the pictures.
Okay. Let me.
I just came on the phone.
Elder Tony's here.
I'm on the phone, but I'm trying to figure this thing out. My phone is, I don't know what's wrong with it. It keeps trying to download something else.
Okay.
You got
Elder
something?
Tony, yes, would you like to I know Sister Warrior Tiandra was asking you to comment as it relates to culturally appropriate narrative mappings. Did you want to make a comment?
Yeah, yeah. Culturally appropriate mapping. Okay, hold on a second. Let me get my head together here. All right. All right. First of all, I would like to have permission to speak.
Yay, Bo, go ahead.
Looking at the words culturally appropriate mapping, I think what I heard before when I was on is changing the narrative to the Coochie Chugga where we define what it means and how it means, how we tell the story. And we have to know what the story is about and why we're telling the story. For instance, I was on the line and I'm having a hard time trying to get on with the visual and the sound and all of that. So all of a sudden I said the black line matters because I was on the black line when I wasn't supposed to be on that line. I had to cut that line off. We have to take a look at what does it mean by mapping. Mapping is setting up something to where it needs to go. But somebody has put out there that we don't know what we're doing. Somebody has put out there that we don't know where we're going. And somebody has put out there that we don't know who we are. And that is one of the problems that we seem to be dealing with. For instance, I'll put it this way. When we listen to the drummers, our drummers, there's 4 basic sounds. The bass sound, for the English language that I'm using, the bass sound, the tenor sound, the alto sound, and soprano sound. So make it this way, the deep, deep sound, the medium sound, the middle sound, and the high sound. All 4 of them together in the African language make up one sound. We have to listen for that, and we have to know what that means. Because if we don't listen to that, then we're listening to somebody else's version. For instance, whenever I say, oh, there's a group meeting and they're going to be playing guitars, immediately a picture comes in your mind who that is. If I say a group is meeting and they're going to be playing drums, nowadays there's a different picture that comes into your mind. At least it's the way I understand it. So taking control of the narrative, the cultural narrative, and somebody has stuck that word culture in there to throw us off the track. So I think it's very understand that we're in defensive mode. And defensive mode means we're in offensive mode. That means that we are controlling what others, not what others, what we say about ourselves and what that narrative is. When do we confront it? I'm kind of like a little tense here because I'm sitting here in the gazebo. Maybe More Park is really peaceful. I'm looking at the playground. I'm also looking at the bell for Mamie Moore. I'm also looking at the parking lot. I'm also looking at the housing across here where the church is. This is our narrative, who we are, what we picture as ourselves. I don't want to be more rambling on, but thank you very much for allowing me this moment to speak. And hopefully at Divine Conversation, I can give you a much clearer understanding of what I mean by this culturally mapping thing. I yield.
Thank you, Elder Tony.
Thank you.
Tim. We can have our pictures and our music.
Please know that y'all won't be able to hear it. So it's about 11 minutes long. So y'all might want to say your goodbyes.
What's up, my brothers and sisters? This is Prince Khalifa. I give honor to my Creator and to my ancestors by virtue of this message. Guide and direct my voice to those who hear and listen. We are chained psychologically and economically, bounded by shame and guilt.
That was done on a bucket, by the
We
way.
have fed all others on the breast of
A
our
white
mothers.
bucket.
While ours
You want me
are
to
grown
keep
up
playing till we go out?
and lost. We must eat our culture, our history, and our traditions.
Brother Hakim is
For they lead us, guide us, and bind us to freedom. Africans.
It's about an 11-minute track.
We were
Remember, you
by
ain't think
God
you hear
to be
us, so.
supermen.
Oh, look out now, that's good.
We're made into mortals by our captors. We're becoming again what God intended us to be. Africans, geniuses, gods of the earth, in sync with the universe. Since the beginning of time, Africans have been doing the impossible, using mind over matter, spirit over mind, tapping into the divine, so that now is the time of this day in mind to discuss our rise, which will free all African minds, allowing the divine to shine, the divine to shine, the divine to shine. I have studied my culture, my history, and my land, because I know that in order to overcome my enemies outside, I must overcome the one that resides on the inside. For how can I see to help my sisters and brothers be free if I can't see for my own inner enemy? Physician, Heal thyself. Heal thyself. Heal thyself. What are we, Africans? What are Africans? Geniuses. You put pyramids with them kings and queens and all the things you find we did, we know we did. Africans are geniuses. Africans are geniuses. We're Africans. I know who I am, and I know who you are. I am not alarmed when I see my brothers and sisters willing, stilling, dealing, killing and killing. People looking just like them. Cause I know the niggas were made and Africans were created. Africans were created. Africans were created. Ooh, Africans are geniuses. What are we, Africans? What are Africans? Geniuses. Niggas were made to meet the needs for slaves. It's an economic thing, you must understand. But now that the job is done, it's up to us to stop what the slave master has begun. For bondage is in our minds and controls how we see with our own eyes. So blame not your sister and brothers. Instead, love unconditionally one another. For this is the medicine that will heal and bind us together, because it is up to us if we're going to get any better. Africans are created in the image of the Creator, arriving here whole and complete, in sync with the universe, and one with the natural forces of the earth. Truth, justice, righteousness, balance, and order are always in effect, and when you know who you are, you will regurgitate the rest. We can never be separated from the Creator. That's a lie at best. So hear the truth. Let go the rest. Africans were created and niggas were made. Africans were created and niggas were made. Psalms 82 verse 5 and 6. They know not, neither do they understand. They walk about in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are out of course. I have said, you are gods, and all of you are the children of the Most High God. Hotep.
Hotep family.
Tony on my cell, so he said he could hear you. So are we still on, Elder Tom?
Yeah, we're still on. So we want to thank everybody for joining us.
Yes, thank you, Asante Sana.
And we are going to tune out. So anybody got any last words that they want to send out with the people? How about
Any last words, Elder Tony, you want to send out with the people? Sam, what are they? Our family is like a forest from a distance. We are one. We look like the forest. This is from Elder Tony.
family. Thank you. And when is the date for the follow up so that we can open it up to the community for discussion? The topic that we had today.
The follow up is July the 26th.
So, family, we will see you back for our next our divine conversation on July 26th at 11:30 a.m. Hope to see you here on that Imani, and bring your questions and some of your comments, and let's have us a discussion. And I will make sure that the lines are working better by then, and have everybody able to tune in. All right. So with that, Brother Hatim and the Tawi Family Village and everybody. All right, family. All right, family.
You too, brother Hatim. You take
You take care as well. All right.
Oh, I'm good. I'm not going like, hey. I've been over here rocking the area here. You can hear the echo replaying. So
Yeah.
I'll see you on the other side. And thank you. I'll do a better job with on the 26th. Did she say?
26th.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. See you later, buddy.
All right. You take it easy.
And thank you a lot. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna send you a picture of the candles.
Yeah, do that, and I can post them up as well.
All
right, family. I'm gonna take this time and make the announcement. I am breaking my fast officially right now. I'm about to go on, and I got some food I'm looking at, and I think some cooking is going on in the kitchen. So I'm gonna try to go and go on and break this fast. I was gonna wait till this evening, but 21 days. 21 days is over, and I'm up, and I'm about to go enjoy myself. You enjoy your day. You know we do this in lieu of the Daily Toast, so hopefully you was able to join us and shout out your ancestors. So I'm out. Oh, before we go out, we gotta go on and do our salutes.
The African Heritage Diet consists of 6 lessons. Lessons where we reach back to our African heritage to find culturally appropriate health and wellness practices that help us to move forward as a people that are whole in mind, body, and spirit. Lesson 1 is herbs and spices. Lesson 2 are greens. Greens is the widest part in the base of the African Heritage Diet food pyramid. So many greens should be consumed. And as you move up the pyramid, those are the things that you consume in lesser proportionate amounts. Whole grains, lesson 3. Beans and rice, lesson 4. Tubers and mashes, lesson 5. Lesson 6. Fruits, vegetables, and a healthy lifestyle.
I am a genius. My ancestors were geniuses. My ancestors have made me a genius in all that I think, say, and do. I must declare myself a genius. I am a genius. Whenever I am myself, I practice my geniusness and do great things. All my thoughts, choices, and deeds must express my geniusness.
I am a genius. My decisions must always be in the best interest of myself, my family, my people, and my God. Only then will I and everyone I know that I am a genius.
I am a genius. At all times, my geniusness must reflect my culture. My geniusness must serve my God. My geniusness must make me be one in love and harmony with my family. My geniusness must protect my people. Yes, at all times, I must demonstrate excellence because I am a genius.
What's up, bro?
Think about a quick question too. It
Go
can
ahead.
be on the record, off the record. It can be on the record. I heard Bob Johnson said he's talking to the higher powers, I guess the government, about our reparations. And I guess the numbers that they come up with were about 3. Name is Saul here in Ngozi, Northern Light Shopping Center. You want more than just a nice cut? Good conversation, good vibe, good music. Come see me at 3512 Cleveland.
Women, but the most important goddesses were black, not just for the African now, in the civilization of the Greeks. The Greek was so profoundly affected by the Africans that the goddess of chastity was a black woman, Artemis. The goddess of wisdom was a black woman, Minerva. The goddess of beauty was a black woman, Diana. And many of their great mythological figures which were critical to the vision of history, the history of the Greeks in the Odyssey. The woman who draws, who has the power to draw Odysseus and all his crew into her, is Circe, who is represented as a black woman with African features on the Greek vases. The woman who helps Jason win the golden fleece is a black woman, Medea. The woman who marries Perseus, the Greek hero,
What is a lion without his pride? What is a whale without his pod? What is a monkey without his troop? What is a wolf without his pack? The answer is very simple. They are the same thing that a human being is without a tribe. Pray.
to
To have melanin embedded in our skin is a gift.
Oh my gosh, when I say too black, you say too strong. Too black? Too strong? Yeah.
We were born to be great.
Oh my gosh, when I say too black, you say too strong. Too black?